Marcus, was that a fair result, do you think?
Listen, I'm happy with it in terms of the overall, in terms of where we're heading and where we're going. I think there's can be a lot of positives to be taken out. That's 2 clean sheets in a row and 2 games unbeaten now. And if you look at this run of games and the games we've had, we've come a long way in terms of organisation and where we want to get to. I'm sure everyone can see how we want to evolve, and with the window opening now, certainly we'll be busy, hopefully trying to bring players in to help us evolve, because certainly there's a base, there's a structure there to build upon.
Yeah, defensively look very sound, but going forward today, very little happening up front.
Listen, for me, possession starts at the back, and so it's easy, and defending starts from the front. So yes, it'd be easy to give the plaudits to the defenders and the keeper and for clean sheets, but certainly clean sheets for me start at the front. And likewise, you're talking about limited chances up top. Well, it starts from the back for me, because we can still play a lot more, and by playing a lot more, you can get into more goal scoring opportunities, and from that hopefully create chances. But I've said all along, they're giving us everything, and what we're missing, we haven't got it in the group. We need to bring it in. In fact, we haven't got it in the group. I said all along there'll be 1 or 2 will be like new signings, and where I felt today was like a new signing was Dom Vos.
Ashley Chambers, Luke Summerfield, he lost both of those.
Yeah.
What's the situation with them?
Yeah, we lost them to injury, so obviously, me, I like to make subs and try and get momentum and go for it, but obviously you're limited, because we've had to make 2 subs literally in the first 45 minutes, so we couldn't change it really personnel or tactically wise, because obviously you're under risk then. If you have another injury, you're going against 10 men, and you wouldn't want that against a very good Blackpool team.
What are the injuries?
Ashley's calf, and Summers is back, and I thought today Summers really he was really on the front foot, Summers, and there's a good player there, and and he's going to be important to us, and I know he's probably had his criticisms, but I thought today was probably going to be a turning for him in terms of a game, and I thought he was taking the game by the scruff of the neck.
And it looks like both players wouldn't be available for Carlisle.
Well, certainly not Ashley, I don't think. We'll see how Summers is and how he reacts.
No Ben Davis today. Was that maybe with an eye on Monday as well?
Look, for Ben and listen, I have a duty of care to the players as well, and there's got to be a sensibility to it as well. With Zach coming back from injury, and if we would have, Ben Davis, we could have been without 2 fullbacks generally if we didn't have that duty of care to him. So for me, 2 games in 3 days, and certainly playing 90 minutes, giving Ben the extra couple of days rest. Hopefully we'll have him for the remainder of the season, likewise Zach.
Signed Adi Yusuf from Mansfield. Tell us about him.
I'm really excited. Now for me, I've been tracking Adi from his time at Burton, to be honest, and at my time at Solihull, where we always felt there might be an opportunity. He was always that, probably looking to go that level above, and certainly his time at Oxford City and my last season with Omar, it was them 2. They were head and shoulders the best 2 centre forwards in the league at that time, and everybody was watching them. And Omar went on to Grimsby, which was then the national, and Adi then went on to Mansfield, so he got his move to the Football League. But for me, sometimes it's like me as a manager, when I was always going to move on, it had to be the right club, right board, and I just feel Adi now is coming to the right club and right staff, and more importantly, we know him. And obviously Mickey's worked with him as well, and I've monitored him, like I said, from his Burton days, and I've always wanted to work with him, and I'm really glad now I've got an opportunity to work with him and Omar.
He played against Town of Crawley, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, and he played very well, the bugger. But no, he's certainly going to help us in the top end. And like I said, there's a lot of onus, getting him in and getting Dom Vos in, and we've still got one or two bit more business to do. Hopefully we'll see that hopefully we'll see more goal scoring opportunities, more chances created. What a great thing.
Will Addy be involved at Carlisle?
Of course.
Start?
I was going to answer then, didn't you? Listen, it's we'll have a look at it, and like I said, I don't want to give Carlisle any advantage, so he won't travel, he won't play, he won't be in the squad, and I've got a big nose.
Yeah. So, what else is in the pipeline for you?
We've still got offers on the table for some players, and we still want to be active, because listen, I'm delighted with the group I've inherited, and as you can see, look, if you look at these 7-8 games we've had, and we've come up against some very good teams, your Portsmouth, your Donnies, your Carlisles, your Blackpools, and we've more than competed, and I believe we've been in every game. But now I want to take it on to the next level, and I've looked at the group, I've had a really good look, and I do feel to go on to the next level we have to bring in players.
How soon are you expecting that to happen?
Listen, we want to get it done as soon as possible, and if they don't come off, we'll have to move on, and it's as simple as that. It's a short window, you've got limited time, and like I said, we're always planning a window ahead, but for this window it's probably with players we want to, who we've worked with as staff before, so we know what they can bring to the club, but we also know the character, and we've worked with them, and I think that's important, certainly in this short period, and we've only been in the job 7 to 8 weeks. So Addy coming in, I know he'll improve us, and more importantly, we've worked with him, so we know the character as well, and he's hungry like us for success.
Any more before Carlisle, would you say?
Oh, come on. No. No.
Sean Chewton not involved today, has he gone back?
No, he's returned back now, so obviously Sean, and it's really unfortunate for him in terms of minutes played here, but I wish him all the best, and a super lad, and he goes with my blessing, and I look out for him, and I'm sure it'll be a success wherever he goes. But we brought in Addy, and like I said, we know he can help us.
Any other loans up in January? Dean Henderson's been extended till the end of the month.
Yeah.
What's the situation with that? Because I think we're hoping to do it to the end of the season.
Look, me and Jose, we've got a really good understanding, so we'll be okay.
You'll be okay.
Yeah.
Difficult game for you at Carlisle. You obviously know a lot about them.
Yeah, it's not so long ago we've played them, and it was a bizarre game, wasn't it? It was 2-2, but in terms of the goals we conceded, but no, I was really impressed with Carlisle on the night, and it's no surprise they've maintained that, and they're in and around it at the top end of the table, and I expect them to be in and around it come the end of the season as well. So like I said, it seems this run of games we're always gauging against the teams who are expected to be up and around, and we're faring well and we're competing, and for a group where we want to go, and certainly a new manager who wants to get new ideas across in this period of time. What we've become is, like I said, we've still been organised and we've still been hard to beat, and so there's a lot of positives. But I think, listen, everybody knows if we're going to move forward and we're going to be successful in this league, we need to bring in a little bit more, which this group hasn't got at the moment, and the group understand that and recognise that. So like I said, that is the first, and hopefully we can bring in one or two who certainly help us as well.
Is that a bit more creativity?
Yeah, that's the word, creativity. You looked at Dom Vos, when he's on the ball you believe something's going to happen, But more importantly, the group now is at a stage now. At times, listen, if you've got a creative player who works hard as well off the ball, so he's just as good off the ball as he's on the ball, I don't think they'd be in this league, if I'm being honest. So by bringing Dom in and bringing in creativity, you've got to get that balance right as well, because sometimes you've got to let that creativity go and play, but you've got to be organised and structured behind it. And we're getting there, and that's the pleasing thing. So I think we're at a stage now with the group that we can enable now to start bringing in players, hopefully, touch wood, fingers crossed, on that creative side, like you've just said, Dale, but still not going away from still being organised. You know, I want to be a team what gets that balance right between on the ball and off the ball.
Are you starting to impose your style of play then on the team?
It will. Listen, we're a work in progress, you know, and listening to, you know, the manager and the Blackpool manager, you know, and he was talking about he's only had 23 games with them, and he's still, you know, we've had 8. So it's going to take time, but I can see, you know, for me, I was like an emotional wreck when I first come in the first 2, 3, 4 games. It was like I want to play every ball. Well, I can see what they're trying to do now, and I can see where we want to get to. So I'm in a more calmer place now and a calmer mindset, and hopefully we can get 1 or 2 across the line who will really help us. And listen, all supporters want to love those players who can, you know, get bums off seats and get them excited when they get on the ball. And like I said, that's what's just missing at the moment. We've got 1 or 2 who can, but we need to just bring in a couple more to help us. And I'm certainly feel we'll be then at a stage where I'll be happy when we'll get that creativity.
How do you see Addy? Because he played wide against us, didn't he?
Yeah, you know, and at the moment, you know, Addy's a centre forward, and we've brought him in as a centre forward. But as we're evolving, he's got the ability to play either side as well in that front line. But ultimately, and where we're going to finish up with Addy, and where we see him and where he'll play the majority of his football at this club, will be down the middle.
Do you think him and Omar work well together then?
I would like to be centre halves playing against them too, that's for sure. But, you know, if you play to up top, you've got to be mindful of them, what's behind it. And, you know, a lot of teams play 3 in midfield. And I know Leicester probably had that old school who played 4-4-2, but they had Kanté in the middle who ran for 2 other people. So they had 3 in the middle of the park. We haven't got Kanté. So we've probably got to get, if we're going to evolve and get a real 2 out and out strikers up top and still have numbers right in the middle of the park and still have your width. There's only certain systems you can play with that, because I still love width. I still love having numbers in the middle, because that enables you to play through teams when you get to that level. And I do love 2 up top. So you work out what shape that is, and we got to get to it. And again, that's evolution.
Where do you see Dom Bowsey's role then? Do you see him as a number 10 or?
I really liked him where he was today, because he ends up in the 10 anyway. He finds them, but you know, I'm really pleased for him. You know, out of everything today, I'm really pleased for him. And if we are going to be successful in terms of, listen, success and what is success and what do the fans measure as success, is staying up in the league success. Certainly the first port of call is certainly that. But if we're going to break into that top end, you've seen the type of technical ability these teams possess. He fits into that. He won't look out of place in any of those teams technically. But there's a reason why he hasn't. And hopefully we're addressing that, and hopefully we can have a Dom Volts week in, week out, exciting the supporters here.
Okay, thanks very much.
Halfway stage of the season, Marcus, 30 points. I know you've only been here for 8 games.
Yeah.
Gives you a good platform, do you think? I mean, you know, realistically, you want to double that tally at least, don't you? But hopefully,
yeah, you know, and again, you know, what's success, and again, I don't want to be you know. Been a great year for the football club. It was a year we got back into the Football League, but it took 6 years.
Yeah.
So is it, we got success and we got it in the end, but should it have been 6 years? You know, what's success going to be measured once we've got in the league? Is it to become established, and then is it then to get promotion into the next league? I certainly, you know, I want to achieve success here, and in the long term that is a promotion.
Yeah.
You know, and ultimately that's what we're working to. But I think you've seen, certainly, and come on, let's not kid each other, we've seen Portsmouth, we've seen Donny,
Carlisle.
Blackpool, Carlisle, the level, Plymouth, technically very good footballers.
Yeah.
Now we have, but in terms of the technicality to be up the top end, like you said, creativity is what they'd probably put a word to that in terms of that technicality, and we've just got to get that balance right. But again, you measure by a budget, and you look, if you look at Blackpool's budget and all them teams you've mentioned, if you look at their budgets, the more you pay, the better quality of play you get. But I know where we're at, and I honestly believe I can maximise and get the best out of every single player, and I honestly believe they're giving me, and they are, I know for a fact, they're giving me everything. Now what we're just falling short on is actually not within the group, it needs to be brought in to help the group, and Addy's the first of it, and hopefully a few more, and if they don't come through, we'll move on and we'll keep working